Hey boys and girls, good morning, good afternoon, depending on when you're watching this video, and happy Monday. Today is Monday, March 22nd, and it's one of my favorite days for March Number Corner because we get to figure out who is ahead for our calendar collector. Before we do so, let's just look at our calendar grid to see what our markers have looked like over the weekend. I gave you a sneak peek on Friday for Saturday's marker. So here's Sunday's marker. And I can zoom in for you. And here is today's marker. So it looks like it continues to follow the pattern of adding 2 every day. But we just need to figure out what is the program? Like, what is the program for this function machine? Earlier we had times 3, a number times 3, and then plus 1. So 5 times 3 is 15, plus 1 is 16. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 1 is 19. So we're going to have to figure out the program for these this new pattern that we see that's happening, but we are not going to talk about that today. Today, we're going to focus on this. So if you don't already, go ahead and get out your Number Corner book and your pieces, or if you draw them in, or if you're using pieces on the app just to make sure that you are keeping up with me and you understand what's happening as we're adding our fractions, then that's great because we are going to get started. I will say before we do, let's go ahead and spin for today's collection so I don't forget that. First spin is always yours. You get 1 6 and I get 1/3. So I'm going to add that to our chart. And while I do, go ahead and look at the numbers that we got from week 3. Look at yours, look at mine, and make a prediction of who you think collected more of a distance for last week. And then how do you know? Are you thinking I collected more? Possibly. Look, I have a half. You guys don't have a half, and that was one of our biggest fractions on our spinner here. I do have 2 6. You guys have 2 6, so we're equal there. And then I have 2/3. You have 1/3, but then you have 2/12. And what do we know about the size of a 12th in comparison to the size of a third, or to the size of a 6, or to the size of even a half? Good. It is smaller. It takes up less space. So it's more likely that Miss Trammell is probably in the lead after this week. So we'll have to see what happens after, or as this week continues, to see who really is going to win for this calendar collector's challenge. So let's start with yours. And I am going to list the fractions that we need to add, just so we don't forget. And that is, we need 2 6, 2 12ths, and a third. So let me write that down. We need 2 6, we got 1 6 plus 1 6. We need 2 12ths, we got 1 12 plus 1 12. And then we need 1/3. Okay, and we're going to figure out what that equals very soon. Which piece should we add first? Yeah, let's do our third piece first. Let me make myself smaller here. And we're going to add our a third first. Now, that was a really good choice, not only because it was the biggest, but also because this third completes this whole. We have a third here. We should know that 2 6 is equivalent to a third, and I can prove it to you by putting a third here. And we know 3/3 is equivalent to 1 whole, for sure. So putting 1/3 first, very good idea, because we've completed our whole. Now what do we want to add next? Right, we can add our 2 6, or we can use our knowledge of equivalent fractions and do 1/3. Just for the sake of our equation here, I'm going to add my 2 6, which I know is the same thing as 1/3. Perfect. And then I have 2 12ths. And 2/12 is the same thing as, right, 1/6. So I have a 12 here, and I have a 12 here. So it looks like we have a third plus another third, which is 2/3, and then 2/12. So in order to figure out our total that we just added for week 3, let's make some equivalent fractions here. We already know that 2/12 make 1/6. So I have 2/12 here, 2/12 here, 2/12 here. That's 2, 4, 6/12 so far, which is the same as a half. Oh, wow, look at that. We got a half. Yeah, we have a half. And then we have another third. How many 12ths would be equivalent to 1/3? Let's check it out. 1, 2, how many do you think? Yeah, 4 12ths. So if I essentially had 6 12ths, which is a half, plus 4 12ths, what's my total? 6 12ths plus 4 12ths equals, good, it equals 10 12ths. And so now I have a total of 1 whole, 2 whole, 3 wholes, and a half. So I have 2 2/3 plus what we just added, 2 2/3, plus what we just added was 10 12ths, is going to give us, we know, 3 1/2. And we know that because we're seeing that. I can also prove that by changing these fractions to equivalent fractions, meaning I changed my 2/3 to 12ths. Here was our 1/3 is 4 12ths, so 2/3 would be 8 12ths. So then I'd have 2 18 12ths, which is the same as, I'm going to write this down for you guys, 2 18, that 18 is a little funky. It's the same thing as saying 3 6 12ths, because 12 12ths is 1 whole, and then I have another 6 12ths left over. And 6 12ths we know is a half. Are we good? All right. Let's go ahead and figure out the total for Miss Trammell. Let's see. I had a half, 2 6, and 2/3. So let me write that out. 1/2 plus I have 2 6, which is a 6 plus a 6, and then I have 2/3, which is 1/3 plus 1/3. Let's figure out what that is equal to. I know I'm going to add my third first. I'm actually going to pull my third from up here. Here's my third to complete my whole. Perfect 3/3 going on right here. I could have added my half first, but that would have been too big, and we want to finish 1 whole before we go to the next whole. So now I can add my half. So I've done one of my thirds. I've done my half. Now I need another third and then 2 6. So here's a third. And then we all know that 2 6 is equivalent to 1/3, but it doesn't look like 1/3 is going to fit. So I need a 6 here, and then I need another 6 here. So let's, common denominators, easiest way to add would be to make 6, right? So 1/3 is 2 6, which means I have 2 6 and then another 2 6. Do y'all see that? And so far that is 4 6, 5 6, 6 6. So that's 1 whole and then a half. So all of my fractions today has added up to be 1 and a half. Do y'all see that? You follow me? Let me show you once more. So I have 1 6 plus another 6 is 2 6, and then 3 6, and then 4 6, 5 6, 6 6, and then a half. Are we good? All right, so now my total, yours is 3 6 12ths. It looks like I've started on my 4th row, so I'm definitely ahead for now. We both started off with 2 2/3 because we were tied last time, if you remember. And now I'm adding 1 1/2. And I know that's going to give me 4 1/6 because I can see it on my model here. If I wanted to, I could also change this to equivalent fractions. So I could have 2 4/6 because I know that on 1/3, that's the same thing as 2/6. And then I have 1 plus 3/6, which is 3 7/6. 7/6 is the same thing as 6/6 plus 1/6. And 6/6 is 1 whole, which means I still would get 4 1/6. I really enjoy this game. I know it's a game of chance, so hopefully you guys understand that. But it's really fun to see how we can add fractions, find equivalent fractions, just by collecting a fraction a day. So you guys have a great rest of your Monday. I will see you tomorrow for Tuesday. And I want to give you a heads up. Normally, I think if I were following pacing, we would be doing a test for our number corner tomorrow and on Thursday, I believe. But I'm saving our tests to be on Thursday and Friday. So forewarning, your test is going to be on all the things that we've been doing in number corner from January, February, and March to see where you are and how we can continue to help you be successful with the math. So make sure you're participating and paying attention, taking notes, and following along with me because you do have a test on Thursday and Friday. So we're going to split it up over 2 days. All right. Have a great day. Bye.